Welcome to Training in the Trenches with Anisha Derora. This is my June 9th WooWoo Wednesday training log. And, I'm not going to talk a lot about the training session other than to say this was the fastest WooWoo Wednesday I've ever done. And I took very few breaks and just busted through it. I came to this training session in a mood. Turns out Jaren also showed up in a mood. We were both edgy, we were both borderline angry, we were both a little stormy and feeling all the feelings. And unfortunately for both of us, our emotions tend to feed off each other, which happens as training partners. And if you have training partners, you know how it is when one of you shows up and you're mentally or emotionally off kilter. It can throw the whole training session off. We're both very mentally and emotionally aware of these things. And so I went outside so my mood wouldn't impact him. He stayed inside and did some stuff for a little while, and then he called the workout for himself. He didn't tell me he was doing it, which was brilliant. He went to his car and laid down in the back of the car, and when it gets to the running part, if you look in the back of the Jeep, you'll see his feet hanging out, which is kind of funny. Or at least maybe it's just funny to me, because every time I ran by, I heard the little song from Wizard of Oz, "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead." But because he's wearing very bright shoes. Anyway, off topic. His decision to not train, but to stay, was exactly what I needed. And he may not have thought about it at the time, but if he had left, I would have dipped. I wouldn't have finished that workout. I would have made sure he was around the corner and gone far enough that he wouldn't know I left right away, because I would have told him, but I still would have left. And the funny thing is, I'm not the person who ever wanted a training partner. Until I started training with Jaren in that group setting that he had at Savage, I would insist that no one train with me. I didn't like it. I didn't like the weight of having someone else train with me, because I wanted to do what I wanted to do, the way I wanted to do it, with the intensity I wanted to do it, and I wanted to focus. And that may sound selfish, but I didn't want to have to carry a conversation. I didn't want to have to encourage someone else or push someone else. I also didn't want to deal with the fact that I knew that if I was with somebody who was just going to kind of poke along, that I would also lower the level of my training. And I didn't like that. So I usually turned down the opportunity to train with someone for those reasons. I learned to love training with people at Savage because I learned to appreciate what each person brought to the table. And we were all working for something very similar. So there were a variety of people with a variety of strength levels, a variety of experiences, and we all contributed to one another. And Jaren had this rule board that I read every single time I trained, because I wanted to know the rules, which may tell you something about me, but I wanted to know the expectations at the gym. One of them was, don't be a lazy training partner. You should always be moving. You should always be loading a bar, spotting, unloading a bar, cleaning up, giving somebody feedback, spotting. There's always something you can do to improve the success of the people you're training with. And some of that's attitude, some of it's the words you say, it's how hard you work, it's all of it. And sometimes it's how you respond when you're having an off day and you know that training isn't going to help, that your mood is going to make your training cause more pain, more frustration, and more mental, emotional tension. Do you leave? Do you just dip out? Or do you stay? Staying may not seem to make sense, but if you're a training partner, staying is the right decision, usually. Jaren's staying is the reason I stayed and finished my workout. He needed to chill to mitigate his storm cloud. I needed to move to mitigate mine. And he made a decision as a good training partner to do exactly what I needed, even if he didn't realize it at the time. I needed to see his feet in the back of that car when I was running back and forth. I needed to know he hadn't given up and left. And that motivated me and carried me through to work out hard, to do what I needed to do to get my mood, my emotions, my brain, and my body in the right place. And I got what I needed out of that training session, because even though we were both storm clouds, we both chose to do what benefited the other person. And that's what a good training partner does. This has been Training in the Trenches with Anisha Aurora. If you haven't already, I invite you to click subscribe now so you don't miss a single episode. For more of my content, visit StrongerAtRest.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter and receive exclusive posts not shared in other places. This episode is brought to you by Cenacle TV, Vitality Education on Demand. There, Jaren and I equip you to defy the status quo. Define vitality for yourself based on your own identity and values. Develop the capacity to live the truths you discover out loud and be deployed into your families, workplaces, and communities in the fullness of who you were created to be. Enjoy a free 1-week trial as well as half off your first month by using promo code StrongerAtRest.